Good morning, boys and girls. It is Wednesday. I hope you're off to a great start today and this week. This is like the middle of the week, so if you can make it to today, you've got the rest of the week. I just know it. We're going to review together today, so make sure your page looks like mine. And I'll go through and do some of the problems with you, and then you can go back and finish up on your own time, okay? But first, we're going to start with these story problems. I like to do these with you because you really have to, sometimes I have to read them more than once to really see what it is that they're asking me to do. And as you know, sometimes they're a two-stepper or three-stepper. We have to go through all the steps to get them taken care of, so I like for us to do those together. Let's go ahead and start here with letter A. It says the Golden Yolk Egg Farm sells eggs. They pack 144 eggs into each large box. How many dozen eggs are in each large box? So how many eggs are they packing? Well, it tells us that they're going to pack 144 eggs. So let's write that down first. You might be able to do this in your head, but 144 eggs into each large box. How many dozen eggs? You know, when you buy eggs at the store, now sometimes they can come in like 18 packs. I've even seen them in 30 packs, like a flat of them. But generally speaking, when we go to the store and we buy eggs, they're in a dozen. How many things make up a dozen things? Well, that would be 12. So we're going to divide that 144 eggs that they have, and there's going to be 12 in each of their boxes. If we divide 144 by 12, what is our answer? Well, like I've told my students before, if we don't know what this is over here, we can multiply backwards, okay? So what times 12 will give me 144? 12. So that's our answer. So how many boxes are they going to do? There's going to be 12 eggs in each box. Okay? So that takes care of letter A there. All right, letter B. In the rose garden, there are 73 red roses, 1/3 as many yellow roses as white roses, 89 pink roses, and 42 white roses. How many roses are in the garden? Wow, this is a lot of information. I love roses. They're so beautiful, especially if you put all these different colors together. That can be really beautiful as well. So let's first, boys and girls, we already know how many red roses because it tells us. We know how many pink roses and we know how many white roses. The first thing we really need to figure out is how many yellow roses are there, because it says 1/3 as many yellow as white. Well, let's find white. It says there's 42. This is one of those fractional parts that's not going to necessarily be one that we can just pop into our mind, okay? But it's going to be 1/3 of 42. 1/3 of 42. Okay, so maybe you can do that in your head. There might be some people that can do that, but if you can't, or you want to check your work and make sure it's correct, this is simply dividing 3 into 42. So let's think about our steps of division and work through this. What times 3 will give me 4 or get me close without putting me over? That would be 1. So we'll put our 1 here. 1 times 3 is 3. Next, we need to subtract. 4 minus 3 is 1. Is 1 less than 3? It is, so then we can bring down our 2. Now we need something times 3 that will give us 12 or get us close without putting us over, and that would be 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 minus 12 is 0. So 1/3 of 42 would give us 14. So now we know how many yellow roses there are. There are 14. Now it says, how many roses are in the garden? Well, now we have our answer of how many of each color we have. So if we need to find out how many are in the garden, we need to add all of those up, okay? So let's start here. We have 73 red ones. Let's list out our numbers here. There's 73. We just figured that we have 14 yellow. We have 89 pink. Ooh, that's a lot. I like those pink ones. And then we have 42 white. So make sure you've got each of your colors written out there. And we're just going to add all of those up together to see how many total roses are in this beautiful garden. So 3 plus 4 would give me 7. 7 plus 9 is 16. Plus 2 is 18. So carry my 1 and write my 8. 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 plus 8 is 17. 17 plus 4 is 21. So how many roses are in this garden? 218. And don't forget your label. 218 roses, because that's what they were asking us. All right, let's look here at section 2. Boys and girls, it's so important when they tell you to follow the signs. They're giving you a hint there because, like I say, sometimes I think they're trying to trick you. Sometimes we get in that mode of multiplication and we multiply, or we're subtracting and it's telling us to add. So to help yourself out, you can always circle the sign to put that into your brain. Oh, I'm adding on this one. Okay, let's go ahead and do letter A together. 5 plus 4 is 9, plus 2 is 11, so we're going to carry our 1 and write a 1. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 2 is 12, plus 8 is 20. There's our 2, there's our 0. 2 plus 7 is 9, plus 3 is 12, plus 6 is 18. 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 8 is 15, plus 7 is 22. So this answer would be 22,801. Okay, I want to skip over here to this one, letter C, because these are mixed numbers. This has a whole number and a fraction. So let's look at our whole numbers first, and we'll get to the fraction in just a moment. But notice, boys and girls, we are subtracting on this one. So 3 minus 2 would give me 1. Can I do 1 minus 7? If I only have $1, can I give you 7? I can't. So I'm going to come borrow from my neighbor, the 2 here. 2 is going to become 1, and I place a 1 in front of the 1, which is now 11. So now I'm ready. 11 minus 7 would give me 4. I have another problem. Can I do 1 minus 9? I can't. So I've got to borrow from the 3. 3 becomes 2, and I place a 1 there. Now I have 11 minus 9, which would give me 2, and then bring my 2 down. So that's 2,241 for my whole number. Now I need to look at my fraction. I have 4 11ths and 2 11ths. Remember, I'm subtracting. When my denominators are the same, it just stays the same in my answer. So I can just place that there and go ahead and write my denominator of 11. And 4 minus 2, you know, is 2. So now my total answer is 2,241 and 2 11ths. Okay, remember, when those denominators are the same, it just stays the same in the answer. Here are some of our new problems here in section number 3. Remember, we talked about our donuts, we talked about be fair and share. And so we're going to work letter A together here. Let me, Mrs. Whiting, would you mind?
I will.
She's going to move it up for me so that I can comfortably write on here for you, boys and girls. Sometimes you have to move your paper around, don't you, so that you have a good angle at it. All right, so let's look here. Remember, we always start with the ones first. So number 3 here is going to be fair and share with number 7 and number 4. So 3 times 7 is 21.
Oops.
Whoops.
It
Look,
disappeared
Mrs.
on
Whiting's
me.
trying to have us do other
Where
work.
did it go?
Where did it go? Uh-oh. Let's see here.
Okay, it's down.
Is it down
the phone
here?
because yours
Look
is
at all that work you guys did.
Okay.
Maybe,
This one.
there we go.
Okay.
Maybe up just a little bit further. Yeah, that's good.
Right there.
Okay,
Maybe
so
one more.
here's our problem. So let's do 3 times 7, which would be 21. 3 times 4 would be 12, plus 2 would be 14. All right, now, once we do the ones, let's take a pause and fix things up a bit. I'm going to erase my carrying here because I don't want to get it confused when I move to the tens. And remember, I have to draw my donut. So I'm going to draw my donut here. And now I'm ready to move on to the tens. So number 2 here is going to share with number 7 and number 4. So 2 times 7 is 14. And 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Let's add our numbers together. So 1 plus 0 is 1. 4 plus 4 is 8. 1 plus 9 is 10. So my answer is 1,081. Now over here, boys and girls, we have 3 digits on the top and 2 on the bottom. That's not going to trip us up one bit. We know we just start here in the 1 spot. So let's do that one first. 8 times 9 is 72. 8 times 7 is 56, plus 7 is 63. 8 times 6 is 48, plus 6 is 54. Okay, remember we take a pause for a minute. Let's go ahead and erase This is my God-given eraser, my fingers right here. It erases off my board. So erase your carrying, and don't forget to draw your donut because we already finished in the one spot. And now we're ready to move on to the tens. So 1 times 9, 9. 1 times 7 is 7, and 1 times 6 is 6. And let's add those together. 2 plus 0 is 2. 3 plus 9 is 12. Let's carry 1 and write our 2. 1 plus 4 is 5. Plus 7 is 12. 1 plus 5 is 6. Plus 6 is 12. Look at all those 2's. 12,222 is my answer there for letter B. All right, I think you're doing very well on your division. Just remember your 5 steps. You're going to divide, multiply, subtract, compare, and bring down. So if you follow those steps, you'll do just fine. Down here, you are finding the fractional part. I'm going to do 2 of these with you because sometimes these can be different. For instance, let's look at letter C together. Letter C is 1/4 of 24. That's one that we can just quickly do in our head. 1/4 of 24 would give me, I hope you said 6, you would be correct. Those are the ones that just work out perfectly, but they're not all like that. So let's flip down and look at letter E here. Letter E is 1/2 of 17. Remember, this is basically a way of dividing, okay? So how many times will 2 go into 17? That would be 8, which we know 8 times 2 is 16, which leaves us 1 left over. So we have to write 8 and 1/2 there. So remember, some of these work out perfectly like this one did, and some of these don't, and that's okay. You just have to remember to write that other part, the fractional part there. All right, go ahead and flip your paper over, and let's move to the back together and take a look at some of these. All right, on these, when you're reducing to lowest terms, boys and girls, these are the ones where you have to find a number that will divide into both the numerator and the denominator. You can't use a 2 for the top and a 3 for the bottom. You have to use the same number that will divide into the numerator and the denominator. So looking at letter A here, I have a 4 and a 10. So what number will divide into 4 and divide into 10 perfectly? We don't want any remainders here. That would be a 2. So we do 4 divided by 2 would give us 2, and 10 divided by 2 would give us a 5. And that works out perfectly. So 4/10 equals 2/5. All right, when you're doing your Roman numerals, these are Roman numerals we write in Arabic numbers. I want you to remember your saying. So it's I vacuum extra large carpets. Mine is during math. And I think Miss Nally has for dad and mom. So however it is, maybe you have a different one. Whatever it is, a way to help you remember those would be great. And so you just use those to help you to fill in your Arabic numbers here. All right, let's look here at section 8. We're writing the values and finding the amount. All right, so you have your money amounts here. This is like if you open up your wallet and you want to know how much do I have in here. Well, if I have 2 quarters, how many cents would that be? 2 quarters would be 50 cents because they're each worth 25. So that would give me 50 cents in quarters. If I have 3 nickels, a nickel is worth 5 cents. So if I have 3 of them, 3 times 5 is 15. So I would have 15 cents in nickels. And if I have 7 pennies, we know a penny is worth 1 cent. So if I have 7 of them, then I have 7 cents. Okay? So you can write your 0 here just to show that spot. Now we just add them all up to see how much change we have in our wallet. So 0 plus 5 is 5, plus 7 would give me 12. 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 1 is 7. We don't need the 0 there, so that would be 7. So how much is in my wallet? That would be 72 cents. Don't forget the decimal here to show money in particular. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful to you today, boys and girls. Make sure that you go back through and finish the ones that we did not do together, and hopefully you'll do a great job on those. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and a wonderful rest of the week this week.